My name is Lisa Peterson, and I am a resident of Bristol, Rhode Island, as well as an organizer with the Rhode Island chapter of the Women's March on Washington. I'm also a licensed mental health counselor, a licensed chemical dependency professional, a licensed chemical dependency clinical supervisor, and a master addictions counselor. I've been working in the field of substance use disorder treatment for over 20 years. I've worked in several different states and in multiple treatment settings. Throughout my career, I have treated thousands of clients who struggled with substance use and co-occurring disorders, many of whom have ended up in the criminal justice system as a result of the war on drugs. Many others have died directly or indirectly as a result of their substance use disorders. Recovery from substance use disorders is often an indirect path, and for many vulnerable individuals is rife with barriers to care, and pitfalls frequently abound. As a person impacted by the pain associated with substance use disorders, both personally and professionally, the attention being paid to the opioid crisis elicits hope but also concern. Every person in this room wants to stop the unnecessary loss of life related to opioid overdose, myself undoubtedly included. To do this, however, we need to take a look at the clinical evidence and say, what works? What else can we do? The criminalization of drug use over the past 100+ years has not only failed to stem the tide of substance use and associated disorders, it's led to mass incarceration, disproportionately affecting communities of color and low-income communities. As far back as 1893, physicians from the Keeley Institute shared the message at the Chicago World's Fair that the law must recognize a leading fact: medical, not penal treatment reforms the drunkard. Despite this early and consistent recognition by medical and clinical professionals, we as a country have continued to cut funding to treatment services while increasing the prison population. It hasn't worked, and it's not going to work now. But this piece of legislation isn't aimed at people with substance use disorders, it's aimed at the people who sell them their drugs, right? And why wouldn't we want to penalize someone, anyone, for the deaths of so many Rhode Islanders as a result of their actions? Those of us who care about people with substance use disorders, actively using or in recovery, are more hurt and angry with every new loss, and we're scared that we or someone we love could be next. It makes sense that we want to do something, but our system is supposed to be one of justice, not revenge. And justice means we have to look beyond our pain and objectively assess the appropriate recourse. H7715 calls for life imprisonment for the acts of sale, delivery, distribution, or knowingly providing a controlled substance. This could be interpreted to include sharing drugs among friends who each have substance use disorders, or a low-level sale to get enough money for their own use to avoid withdrawal. In fact, a 2003 article by Bruce Johnson, PhD, notes that most distributors primarily provide their labor and skills in exchange for the drugs they consume. Often they receive no cash payments, but consume a portion of the drugs they are to sell. Low-level distributors routinely switch among the various roles, often within minutes. This legislation, although well-intentioned, will only lead to more of our family members, friends, and loved ones being removed from our lives before they themselves could achieve recovery. Recovery is a reality, and if we truly wish to stop the continued tragedy of senseless overdose deaths, we need to ensure that all Rhode Islanders have access to everything they need to get recovery. To the families and loved ones of those we have already lost, I am truly sorry for your pain, and I am committed to taking effective action to avoid others having to experience it. Thank you for taking the time to hear this.